Welcome to the Online Success Podcast with Michael Brown. Your online business success starts now.
Welcome to another edition of the Online Success Podcast. I'm Michael Brown, and today we are going to be discussing buyer keywords, how they make you more money, why you need to use them, and why a lot of people just are missing the boat right now on these type of keywords. And I want to dig into this today and basically look at not only what buyer keywords are, but how you're going to be able to use them. And the reason I decided to do this particular podcast presentation today is recently I've been going through a lot of the websites that people are building, going through my techniques over at niche60.com. And I've found that a lot of people are making these awesome, amazing websites. I mean, they're just very cool. They have great, pictures on them. They have great logos. They're using the keywords properly. Okay, so a lot of good stuff is going on, but they're missing out because they're not specifically targeting a lot of buyer keywords. And though I talk about this in the course, it's something that's kind of easy to gloss over when you're new and you don't really understand the importance of buyer keywords. So I want to talk about these today. I want to break this down, and then at the end, you're going to be able to download a list of, it's like 79 or 8, I think I added a few more, but we'll just say 79 buyer keywords. And, these are out of a possibility of like hundreds and hundreds of different possible buyer keywords. But these keywords are just going to give you an idea of where you could get kickstarted and where you can really start making some money. So let's take a look at this. First off, what are buyer keywords? Well, they're basically terms or phrases that people are using when they search the search engines, when they're considering to make a purchase or they're getting ready to make a purchase. Like they're either ready to buy now or they're getting ready, so they're maybe in the research phase. These type of keywords are great because what they usually lead to is a higher conversion rate. They lead to more sales rather than just informative posts that, sometimes lead to sales, but oftentimes people are just looking for just some information and they're not going to buy from you. Anytime you use buyer terms and you rank for buyer keywords, that is when you can actually do a great job at converting the sale as long as you're giving them what they're looking for on the page. So again, people are specifically looking to buy or they're considering a purchase. So there's two different variables there. They're either looking to buy right now or they're considering. And both types of people are great because they can both lead to sales. Obviously, the ones who are using the more, like keywords like buy, order, purchase, those type of keywords are like people want the product right now. But if people use reviews, complaints, ratings, things like that, and I'll get more into that in a second here, but if they're using those type of keywords, they want some more research. They want to learn a little bit more about the product or the service that you're promoting before making that purchase. So let's take a look here at the basic sales process. And a lot of you already know this information, so I know this part here is probably just it's probably just repeating things you already know, but I want to cover it just in case, and in case you're new, you're listening to this, and you need that re-instilled in you today. So I want to cover the sales process briefly. So basically, when somebody goes to a search engine, it doesn't matter if it's Google, Yahoo, Bing, DuckDuckGo, any of them, okay? If they go to a search engine, they're going to type something in and they're going to find what they want based off of what they're searching for. Now, when a buyer searches for buyer keywords, again, terms like buy, order, purchase, rent, they're specifically looking to buy something or rent or, basically they're looking to trade money for a product or service. Okay? Pretty basic. Now, again, other search terms, as I just mentioned a moment ago, such as reviews, complaints, ratings, things of that nature, are people doing research looking to buy. So basically, it's just you're taking people who are coming from the search engine, they're coming to your site based off of a certain keyword or keyword phrase, and you can convert them to a sale. So that's the basic movement of how the sales process works when they get to your site and they have a chance to make an informed decision to go through your affiliate link and buy the product from you or not. Okay? So let's look at the type of buyer keywords that are out there. This is another one. Okay, I just mentioned the two previous, the people who are ready to buy now, the people who are looking for more information so they can consider a purchase. And I'm also going to talk about some actionable keywords and phrases. And these can be things like reduce, clear up, diminish, relieve, get rid of, take care of. Okay, basically people use these sometimes when they're looking for things like clear up acne, relieve joint pain, and so on. And the beauty of that type of keyword is if you offer the person who's coming to your page or post a solution. So let's say they come to your site based off the keyword terms clear up acne. They come to your site, you have a really good write-up about some type of product that clears up acne. Well, that person who then comes to your site, they then have a choice to make as they read through what you're discussing. They have a choice. They can either buy something through you by clicking your link and then going on to buy the product you're recommending to them, or they can move on or go to another part of your site. You know, it's going to be up to them. But basically, you're giving them, if they're coming to your website off of those keywords, you're giving them the option to be able to buy something from you. So even when they're searching for things that don't necessarily seem like they're a buyer keyword, there's an intent to buy there, which is they're looking for a solution. I love solution type of keywords, actionable type of keywords, because they're often overlooked as being buyer keywords. Now, as you go through and you learn to basically target more keywords, you're going to want to focus on a lot of these type of actionable keywords. Now, there's some other keywords out there that I actually find very interesting too, and there's a website, and I think the guy does a great job at what he's doing. It's kinobody.com, and the guy targets a lot of every time an actor has a new movie that comes out, someone might search for, Ryan Gosling workout or something along those lines. And what I love about that is if you get into your customer's shoes or your potential customer's shoes, and you think, okay, if I targeted a keyword like Ryan Gosling workout, what does my customer want to do? Well, they probably want to look like that, okay? They probably want to get into that kind of shape. So if you're promoting something to help that person get in that kind of shape, say a course or a workout plan, a diet plan, whatever, if you're promoting a product and they read through your tutorial where you talk about, what it took to get him into that kind of shape for that movie, they're going to be inclined at the end of that to make a purchase because they're going to want to look like that. Okay, and it doesn't just work for the guys in Hollywood. Obviously, it works for the women in Hollywood as well. Certain people, they'll see a new star that goes on a diet, and they want to learn what that star is doing to get into that shape. Well, if that star or celebrity is using a particular brand or a particular product, that might be something that you promote on the page to convert the sale. And like I said, the guy who I saw doing this, he does it a lot. He does a great job out of it. The guy's in phenomenal shape too and runs a really great website. And that's all part of it. That's all part of the, the presentation. But it's just a really great thing to do, and it's a great way to target some buyer keywords when, typically you wouldn't look at certain things like that as a buyer or a potential buyer keyword. But what you have to do is with every keyword or keyword phrase that you target, put your mind into the mind of a potential customer. Would that lead them to a sale? And really think and focus on it in that way, and it's going to help you. It's going to help you determine if that's going to be something they'd want to buy. But you put yourself in their shoes, try to think like they would think, and that will help you determine what the keyword is or keyword phrase that you could be using. Of course, you need to do some keyword research too. So you'll want to go into Market Samurai, or you'll want to go into the Google keyword tool or the SEO book keyword tool or whatever you're using to do your keyword research. Go in there and dig deeper, because oftentimes you can, once you really start the keyword research phase, and you start with like just basically like a root word like acne, for instance, you'll see on a list all the actionable keywords, and you'll see all, especially with like Market Samurai, you'll see the actionable keywords. People, typing in clear up acne, reduce acne, get rid of acne, things like that. You'll see those things just pop out to you. And actually, at the end of this presentation, on the show notes page for this, and I'll give you that at the end here, I will have a little bit of a, not like trivia, but you'll be able to go in, and I'm going to give you a keyword pack for acne, and you'll be able to go through it, and I want you to use what I taught you here to learn about what the different buyer keywords are. Figure it out on your own so you can take that back to your own niche and use it. So let's look at some mistakes that I see very often when it comes to keywords and trying to target buyer keywords. And these are some things that I've seen, just from people, not just in Niche 60, but just all over the internet. And I'm going to help clarify what you should do instead here. Okay, so, and by the way, I'm going to take several pauses today because I have a little bit of a sinus cold going on here. It's like a normal spring thing for me. I think I end up talking about this on just about every podcast in the spring. It's like I'm drinking lots of coffee and tea and things like that. So I actually have some awesome Lavazza coffee in my mug right now. If you have not had Lavazza coffee, absolutely love it. It's an Italian blend. It's fantastic. So one day I'm gonna see if I can get paid endorsements from them for this, but not yet. So let's take a look at the mistakes I often see with this. And again, if you're not using the buyer keyword list, you're gonna want to grab that at the end of this episode. So before I even start going into this, but what I find out people are doing is they might use one or two of the different keywords that I'm mentioning, but they're not using them enough. And I don't have a set percentage that I would say that your site needs to have between informative types of keywords and keyword phrases and between buyer keywords and phrases. But I will tell you this, that if you focus more on buyer keywords and phrases, your conversions and sales are going to go up, which means you're going to make more money and you're going to be happier at the end of the day because you're making more money. And that's part of the process when you're building your own sites. You want to be content with the content that you're building. You want to be happy with the content you're building, but you also want to be profitable. So use buyer keywords a lot. Just use them as much as possible without, obviously you're going to not just want to do that, but you just want to use them quite often. Use them a lot. Because what I usually see, this is the format I'm typically seeing from people. They'll show me a, like a post or their website for me to review. And they have a lot of pages and posts on their site that are basically they're targeting just the product plus brand name keywords. So maybe they might target like a Chrysler 300, in maybe a certain some other 800-digit number at the end of that for the, that people would target on a car. That's just one example. There are basically it's people targeting products plus the brand name or brand name plus a specific product. Instead, you can convert the sale by targeting like a product plus review or brand plus product plus review. So for instance, Sony DC 2000 4K TV review. Well, here's the thing. If someone types that into the search engine, they want a review for that particular product because they want to see what somebody else says about it. Okay, so they want to know what somebody has to say about that product. So they're really looking for that, for some results. They want to come to your site and see that specific term. They want to see that you've reviewed that product and they want to know your opinion on it. And that's important because you can actually do what I'm showing you here with all these different keyword phrases that I give you. you'll be able to kind of target things in that manner, in that way. But you see, and if you put yourself again in the customer's shoes, and maybe you've done these kind of searches before, but if you put yourself in the customer's shoes and you say, I want to know more about this product because I want to buy it, and then you go and you get that exact product on a page, you have someone telling you why or why not you should buy it, you're going to be more likely to listen to them. You're going to be more likely to go make that purchase. And I'll tell you, I've done that several times in the past where I've actually typed in looking for different reviews or looking for opinions on certain products. And, I'm not afraid to go through someone's affiliate link. If they do a good job on a presentation and I think they're legit, I have no problem doing that. And most people won't realize that you're an affiliate, or they won't care, and they'll just go through your link anyway. So, like I said, I've done it myself with several products, and I don't care that someone's an affiliate. I like to support affiliate marketers, and I think a lot of people feel that way. And a lot of people, again, even when you put up, on your site that you're an affiliate for different products, and you announce it and let them know, they don't care, or they don't mind, or they just ignore it because they just assume that anytime someone's, promoting something anyway, that they're probably making something off of that promotion. So it's not a big deal in that way, but it's still very cool for us as affiliate marketers to be able to put these type of review posts out there and get people to come in and buy them. And, it's not just... There's not just a few keywords. Again, I've got over 79 examples that I give you. You'll be able to walk through and go through different keywords, and a lot of keywords you haven't thought about, and you're going to come up with a lot of other keywords that I don't even have on the list. Okay, this is what I suggest, though. I don't suggest just dropping everything and only focusing on buyer keywords. I think that's a big mistake, too. I think if you're only focusing on a particular style of keyword, in this case we're talking about buyer keywords here, you're going to be missing out, because informative posts actually can help people make buying decisions as well. Let's just take, for instance, if somebody typed in or was looking for weight loss tips. Now, that would be a very competitive niche just for that term, but I'm sure there are lots of other terms under that are, a little bit longer in keyword phrase that you could use in that situation. And basically what you can do is you can actually link out to your informative types of posts when people arrive at your buyer keyword, your buyer keyword type style post. So when they arrive at your buyer keyword style post, so again, if they were looking for a specific weight loss formula, and you give a review on it, you could link out to your own informative type of post explaining, maybe the competitive advantage versus the other brands and why it's in there that you don't necessarily have in your review post. But you could say, in this research shows, click here to get the research, why this gives you an advantage in a competitive state, or why this gives you an advantage for losing weight, or whatever you're targeting there, and you can make it open in a new window, and people will just click on that to get more in-depth analysis on why why your opinion is what it is, and that can really help persuade people to the sale as well. Because again, it gives them a deeper, more engaged buying decision. They're able to look at that your information, and then they can discern for themselves if they should buy it or not from you. Okay, so let me give you another example. Let's say you're promoting a cinnamon-based weight loss product. I have no clue if something like that even exists. I'm just making something up right now. But let's say you linked out to some research, and you basically link out to some of the research that you have gathered from the internet based on cinnamon being great for fat loss or weight loss. Now, when you're posting like a weight loss tips, and then you're promoting a program, they can go read more about that program. But you can also say, hey, and again, in this research based off of this information, cinnamon has been shown to cause or reduce or speed up the weight loss process. and you can include that. And you can also include excerpts of your article in there to explain to people why weight loss works. And the other thing I've done several times in the past, and it's a good tactic as well, is I will link out to someone else's research just to have it open in a new window so I don't completely lose the person. I want them to stay on my website, but I'll link out and show them someone else's research or someone else's very great informative post to help back up my promotion of the product, or my recommendation of the product, I should say. So never be afraid to link out, because I know a lot of people are worried about linking out to other sites, but sometimes it does help you. If you don't have your own research gathered on something, and you don't want to take the time to do that, then there's no harm in linking out to someone else, as long as you make it open in a new window so you don't completely lose your audience when they come to that page, because you don't want that to happen either. So those are just some things, that cross my mind when I'm putting out this style of post, this type of post. So use a good mix of buyer keywords and informative keywords to really help solidify that sale, to get that person even more interested in buying. Okay, so at the end of this, what you need to do is go over to unleashingyoursuccess.com/buyer keyword, or KW. So go to unleashingyoursuccess.com/buyer KW. Okay, and that will take you right to the show notes for this, and you'll also be able to snag that buyer keyword list that has over 79 keywords that you can use. Again, this is not completely exhausted. There are hundreds of more keywords that you could possibly come up with that are buyer related, but this will give you a good kickstart in the right direction for what you can do with buyer keywords, and for what type of keywords are out there. And it'll really get your mind going, and you can put them to use. So make sure you use them, put them to use, and I'm telling you, if you really do it and then you focus on your traffic to your website, your sales are going to increase. They will increase. But here's the key. You have to actually work on it, because just popping these into your site and not trying to rank for them and such is not going to help you convert any sales. People won't find you. So make sure you're getting out there. You're still doing all the normal things you need to do. Link building, build communities, get on Facebook, get on Twitter, Pinterest, get an audience, build the audience, and send that audience your way. And inside of Niche 60, I go over all that. So, if you're a member, it's all covered there, and it will get you started. Okay, I want to thank you for listening to this episode, or watching it if you're watching the video. Again, I'm Michael Brown. I'm at unleashingyoursuccess.com. And this specific show, you can find it at unleashingyoursuccess.com/buyer KW, and you'll be able to go read the show notes. You'll be able to download my keyword list. You'll be able to go through. I'll have a transcript up at some point, usually within a couple days after this releases. And I'll also have a little bit of an exercise in there that's going to help you learn how to pinpoint buyer keywords, and learn where you can find them and what to do there. So I'll have a little bit of an exercise there for you as well, to just help get you up to speed, especially if you're pretty new to all this and you just need a little boost. You can also find me on Google Plus and Facebook at Unleashing Your Success. So at Facebook, it's facebook.com/Unleashing Your Success. I don't have the address for the Google Plus because it's Unleashing Your Success in a long string of numbers, at least for now, until I can get that, till I can get a nice vanity URL. So that's basically where we're at there. And I really thank you for paying attention here, and I thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, just come over to the Unleashing Your Success community. After you take a look at the show notes, and you'll find that over in the sidebar, you can come over to Facebook, you can come over to Google Plus, ask me a question. I'll be happy to answer that for you. So thanks again. I will see you in another episode. Go use those buyer keywords.
You've been listening to the Online Success Podcast with Michael Brown. Here's to your success.